In today's video, we're going to be going over what are the worst reasons to be buying stocks. And this may come as a surprise for you because mainstream media usually tells you what are the best reasons to be buying stocks, what stocks to buy right now, what to do, left, right, whatever, right? But I'm actually giving you what are the worst reasons that you can actually, just go right into stocks, start investing, because there are good reasons. There are good reasons to be buying stocks. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad time to be buying. This is an amazing time to be buying. But, when there comes an amazing time to be buying, there's some bad habits that you can have when you're investing. Because, right now it's a great time to be building your portfolio for the future, but there are some wrong mistakes you can make, right? So I want to just go over this quick thing that I made and just give you some little tips. But just quickly, I found this on Canva. It shows you, there's buyers, there's sellers, and then there's guys like this who just panic. I've gone over panic in many other videos. People panic all the time, but a lot of the time people panic because they'll buy a stock, but they won't have a good reason to back it with. And then when the stock goes down, they're just panicked. They're, oh my gosh, like, hey, I bought this because you bought it and now it went down. Oh my God, I'm panicking. What am I going to do, right? Like, that's a stupid thing. And that's what we're going to go over today. So the first reason is just because the price dropped, you're buying the stock, right? And this is a common one I see all the time. So for example, Tesla, right? Like I put that already there. Tesla stock, I could pull it up in TradingView right now. Like as you can see, it's dropped significantly. Definitely, it's obviously been the biggest loser of the Mag 7, but it's probably the most volatile of the Mag 7, definitely, right? It's dropped from its top 480 down, oh my God, like over 50%. Like it's pretty nuts, right? And everyone's like rushing to buy Tesla because, oh my gosh, the price dropped significantly. But wait, just because the price dropped doesn't mean that it's a good company. Doesn't mean that it's still a buy. Like think about that for a second. Like for the Tesla example, how is the brand of Tesla looking? Not that good. What's going on with Elon Musk? What's going on with their sales? Go online right now. Go check Tesla sales. Look at their investor relationships past quarter. Their sales aren't booming, not like they used to. And just look at everything in general. He keeps promising the full self-driving. It hasn't happened. And look at Waymo. Waymo's beating them. Google's beating them. So right now, it's not really looking too good for Tesla. There's not really any good news except that he's, partners with the president, I guess. And then, Trump just announced the 25% tariffs on all automotive. So that just, screwed them over a little bit more. So yeah, so this isn't a reason, I see this in many stocks too. Like, for example, HIMS, right? Because the stock price dropped, we just got to keep buying more. Like, I'm not saying that when prices, like for example, Amazon, right? It's a company I love, great valuation right now. And, over time, their margins have just been just keep going to all-time highs, right? It's a great company. Obviously, it's Amazon. And when the price drops, I love to keep buying because it's just giving me a greater deal. But for example, a Tesla or a HIMS or I don't know, some other stock like a Grab, like that was popular on Twitter, like just because the stock price dropped does not mean it's a buy. You know what I mean? You have to look at the valuation, the value. If it's at a good value when it drops, okay. But you look at the forward PE of Tesla, it's still way overvalued. Just because the stock price dropped, it's still way overvalued. So it's not just a reason to buy. But yeah, so don't confuse this with dollar cost averaging, right? Like dollar cost average is when, the stock price drops, over time, you just keep on buying and buying and buying. But that's on stocks that you've done adequate research on and you've really put in the effort to, seen that, okay, the business model over time is just going to keep growing and growing and the CEO is great and you've done all your research. Okay, that's when the stock drops. That's when you should keep buying. But not like a Tesla or one that's like super overvalued, even though the stock dropped. All right, so the next reason I want to go over is when people buy stocks just because someone else is buying it, right? Like I think I kind of alluded to that earlier. A lot of people, they'll go on like CNBC or some other YouTube channel and they'll see some guy, saying, okay, these are the top 5 tech stocks you got to buy right now. And they'll just blindly buy them, tell themselves in their mind, like, yeah, I'm buying this for a good reason because this guy bought it and he's a good investor. And I just think that's the dumbest thing you can do, right? And I'm not saying, like, for example, I put here Jeremy, right? I don't know if you guys have watched him. His name is Financial Education on YouTube. My favorite YouTuber of all time, not even hands down. But I don't just copy what he does. And my friend, for example, had told me, he's like, if you watch this guy so much, if you listen to his advice so much, and you think he's a great investor, why don't you just copy his things? He posts them. This guy, Jeremy, he literally posts what he does. He doesn't, he's very transparent. But I tell him, I'm like, you can't just do that, because even the best investors are wrong sometimes too. And that seems very, very simple and very, makes sense. But people don't usually think about that. And the thing is, what happens is, I know for sure there's certain stocks I hold in my portfolio that are not gonna, that are maybe won't make it one day. But even if those drop, I can still sleep at night, because I know that I put in the effort to do the research myself rather than listening to someone else. So if the stock drops, okay, we can say, okay, too bad, so sad. But if you're just buying it because some other guy is buying it, then that's stupid, because if that stock drops, then you're gonna blame it on him when it's not his fault, it's not her fault. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, Warren Buffett, I put this guy, I talk about this guy a ton, right? There's no doubt that he's one of the greatest investors on earth. But I'm not just going to copy everything he does. His portfolio is live, right? You can see on Google, you can search up right now, what are his exact holdings. You can copy his portfolio word by word, right? But I'm still not going to do that, right? And I'm not saying that you can't get inspiration, right? You can get inspiration from these people. For example, SoFi, right? SoFi, you think I didn't find that one out on my own. That one was from Jeremy, right? I found about SoFi from him, but I did my own research. And I even used you can use people's videos as research, right? I'm not saying you can't buy when somebody else is telling you reasons to buy. Like, that's okay. If someone's giving you adequate reasons to buy, okay, and you agree with them, then it's okay. But if you're just buying because they're buying, then that's a bad thing. So yeah, I'm not saying you can't get inspiration. I got inspiration for SoFi, right? Jeremy had told, he had made many countless videos about SoFi. It's an upcoming bank. It's going to become a banking giant. And I looked into it on YouTube and on Yahoo Finance and on 1000X Stocks and on FinViz and Seeking. Like, I did my research on SoFi, and I still am doing it to this day. And I'm a big holder of SoFi. But, like, for example, I don't know, like new stock, right? I found that one on my own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can get inspiration from people, but you shouldn't be directly copying them. That's what I'm trying to get at, and I hope that makes sense to you. All right, so the next one should be pretty familiar to you guys. You guys definitely know what I'm talking about, and that is just FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So this is a very common one. And, I put right here, what is a hype stock? Like, this guy made a video, I forgot his name, but he had made a video talking about, like, hype stocks. And, for example, you see, like, Tesla, Robinhood, Palantir, Neo, right? So I'm sure you've heard of, like, a meme stock or a hype stock that, everyone's just hyping up, saying, this is the next big thing, you gotta buy it. And if you don't buy it, you're gonna miss out on generational wealth. Oh my gosh, right? And that is a bad reason to be buying. Right? So I'm not saying, for example, Palantir is a bad buy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're just buying it because you're just scared, oh my God, I'm going to miss out, I got to quickly buy. You know what I mean? If you're scared that you're just going to miss out, that you're only buying because you don't want to miss out on the gains, then that's such a stupid reason. And we can see that in GameStop, right? You remember, I don't know if you remember the GameStop thing from 2020, but everyone around you was telling you, yeah, you have to buy GameStop, you have to do it. Oh, then look what happened. Oh, then it crashed. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just be buying because everyone around you is buying. Like, do you think GameStop had good sales back then? Do you think that they were like a booming business? Like, no, they're not. GameStop is not a booming business. Like, we should know that, right? And, like today, actually the stock went up, but it was because they now have a Bitcoin reserve. Like, what? This is GameStop. Why do they have a Bitcoin reserve? Like, that makes no sense. Anyways, so what I'm trying to get at is that, these stocks, I'm not saying they're bad. Like Robinhood, I think it's a great company, maybe not at the best valuation right now. Palantir is a great company. Neo might be Tesla. Tesla right now is not the best, but I'm saying you can still be buying these companies, but you should not be buying it just because everyone around you is just telling you, oh, you got to buy it, or else you're going to miss out. Like, don't worry, you're not going to miss out. If it's truly an amazing company and you've done your research, you're not going to be missing out because you'll be buying over time. And it's not like one day the stock price is going to be here and then, oh no, you missed the train, it's all the way up here. Like, trust me, that's not how stocks usually work. And if the max, maybe it'll go like, I don't know, up 10% in a day, like, okay, like, you're not going to be like, where you truly miss out is on years and years of gains. But single day or week, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm just trying to say is, don't just be buying because you think you're gonna miss out, because you're not. Okay, you're not gonna miss out. So just do your research and invest in companies that you truly think are gonna do well. All right, so the last reason is because you're only buying these stocks because you want to make money, because you just want to make a quick buck here and there, right? And to this, most people are going to be super surprised. They're like, why else would we buy stocks? We're doing it to make money, right? Actually, no. You're buying stocks to build your wealth. And I tell this to everybody. I think I need to come up with a thing called BYW, build your wealth, right? When people say, "Oh, how much money have you made with the stocks? How much money are you making this week in the stock market?" I say, "I'm not making money. I'm building my wealth." And by that, I mean, I'm not making a quick buck. I'm not making a quick buck this week. I'm not making a quick buck over the month. I'm doing this because I want to build my wealth for the future. And by that, I mean having a big financial foundation for when I'm older, right? And, people think that, okay, I'm just going to invest in this HIM stock, pretty hype right now, and I'm just going to make a quick buck because I'm going to sell it next week, And even if you're not like super day trading, even if it's like you think like, okay, I'm going to sell this in like a month from now. Like, no, you should be holding your stocks for like years. You shouldn't be holding them for like months or weeks or even days. Like, what? So you shouldn't, if you're really doing this to make money, you should be getting a job, because if you want to just be making money, this is not where you're going to do it. This is where you're going to build your wealth over time and compound your portfolio amount. You know what I mean? This is not where you're going to make $500 today. Like, all these day trading videos, they're garbage, okay? I promise you, they're just here to sell you a course. I promise you. You don't have to trust me. You can learn it for yourself the hard way, like I did. So, yeah. So, honestly, the reason, for me and most investors at this point, we're just doing this because we want to just grow our portfolios for the future, right? I'm not doing this to make money. I don't even try to make money off of you. I don't try to sell any kind of course. But this is what I try to tell most people when they're just buying a stock like a Tesla, trying to buy calls or puts or something, just to make money, just because you want to make a quick buck. Like, no. This investing game is long term. And yeah, so if you're a day trader, seriously, just click off this video. This is not the video for you. I'm sorry to tell you. But if you're a long-term investor like me, this is perfect for you. This is the perfect video for you. And thank you so much for watching. That's all I have to say for now. And I have a picture of money right here. Although I said, you're not supposed to be doing this just to make quick money. Just know, in the future, long term in the future, you will have all the money. If you wait long enough, the wealth of the impatient will be moved to the patient, right? That's one of Warren Buffett's quotes. Not word for word, but you get the point. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're taking advantage of this financial situation we are in right now. But make sure you're making the right decisions when you're buying stocks. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.